Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2. Welcome, one and all, to Mapmaker Monday. I'm just doing some last moment sound and video checks, and then we will go live. Oops, sorry about that spike there. My mic almost fell. How is everyone doing today? Kind of fans in here. Hey, Solid, how you doing? Welcome back. Goodness, I noticed just before we went live that all the events reset because of daylight savings. I swear, daylight savings gets me every time. I have to fix the events several times a year because of it. Got audio at least. There should be music. Coming through. Let's go to the live feed, shall we? Stream software like framed out for a second and showed the piece that was like the going live tool that it shouldn't show anymore. Awkward. Thought I did something wrong or it crashed. Anyway, everything appears to be good, so we'll just go with it. Welcome one and all to Mapmaker Monday. Share it over. Pat was sitting on it yesterday, just right next to me, so it's my bad. Had him in petting range, you know what I mean? Anyway, so welcome one and all to Mapmaker Monday. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making tool and immersion utility that is available on Steam. It allows you to build maps in a snap. These maps are primarily in the fantasy setting, though you can kind of lean into like steampunk or like Western or even Victorian kind of an era. Hey Chim, how you doing? Here we have a map I've been working on for the past... Oof, that's framing out. I forgot I had it on high. Let's turn it down to at least medium. This is a big map. For the past few months, every Monday I work on it for about an hour or so on stream while people watch, share ideas and feedback, ask questions, and get support, because we do post this stream in AMA format, which means ask me anything. So if you have questions related to Dungeon Alchemist, you can ask, and I will do my best to address them and provide you real-time support. Which is one major benefit of these streams. You can tune in anytime and ask questions about, you know, your map making adventures, and maybe you are stuck on a certain concept or build idea and you need guidance, or maybe your exports aren't coming out the way you expected, things like that. So that's what I'm here for. So throughout the stream, we'll be working on this massive cemetery complex, and by massive, I mean 82 by 82. This map is something else. This is something else. A lot of it's built by hand, for the most part, all of it. And it's built kind of perpendicular to the grid instead of directly on it, which is kind of tricky. We have the entry point, a pond, some trees, parking, road here leading to the parking. And this is for this massive cathedral where they host the funerals, which also has a beautiful garden all the way around it that I put down by hand, every piece of it. And then behind it is their private kind of cemetery plot for their clerics, paladins, various clergy members, priests, nuns, etc. over the hundreds of thousands of years that this chapel may have been open. Sorry, I just realized the mic was a little far away. Hey, Ricky, how you doing? Broken King, welcome, welcome. So every week I kind of chip away at it, add a little bit at a time, teach people tips and tricks, answer questions, and slowly get this thing towards, a finished product. Currently, I am working on this section, which is the caretaker's cottage. I kind of reserved this little corner for the caretaker, as I call him, who would be the person who manages the property, cleans up the roads, trims the hedges, cleans up trash, and takes care of the plants and stuff like that. I'm wonderful, Ricky. I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking. Appreciate it. And glad you're doing great as well. Oh, you got me on the background watchtower? I get it. Cool. I get it. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Rev. Welcome back. Welcome back. See, my camera's just the littlest bit cut off. A little bit was. Hey, Simone Gal, how you doing? How are you today? Excuse me. Bit of a sore throat this morning because I played D&D yesterday, so was talking for a long while. It was quite the session, to say the least. There wasn't like a ton of action, but the session was sort of scripted that way. Basically, we met with a potential new, contact employer person whose name is Belhiri. They're a tiefling who kind of runs like an underground... and no, it wasn't streamed. It's a private game with friends. So you get to hear about it secondhand from me. So we essentially got to meet up with this patron who basically who had similar interests in us, who wanted this person who wronged our entire party individually in different ways, got us all arrested, thrown in jail, basically, she also has a grudge against this guy. His name's Rorik. And we all decided to go in against him. And she's sponsoring us, kind of, and giving us shelter temporarily as we've been on the run from prison. So we're kind of at a safe house that she's given us. And we were tasked with doing 3 different things to help, weaken Rorik's regime and take him out. And one of them was we had to go find this guy who is like his bookkeeper, who runs one of his gambling dens or manages the books for his gambling dens and all his operations. And we had to lift his ledger off of him or kill him and take the ledger. So we come to find these kind of slummy area. We start walking around, and I guess it's not that slummy. It's middle of the road area, lots of shops, and there's guards and stuff, and we're not sure if the guards would like us walking around in the middle of the night, so we're trying to avoid them where we can, taking side streets and stuff. We're also looking for shops that might be interesting to us. Maybe they might be open, who knows. And anyway, we're walking, and one of the shops is like a mount shop. Like you can get, well, I guess they sell mostly dogs, I guess. I was looking for a mastiff to be a mount because I'm a halfling, and I'm always using Longstrider to stay caught up with the group or falling behind the group, basically. So I thought, hey, a mastiff would be great. And we passed, and I asked what the name of the shop was, and he said, and I was like, interesting, I should keep that note of that so I can maybe get a dog there later. And the party's like, we're right here. Do you want to just go in, right? It was a kennel. Right. Sorry, I don't remember all the particulars like that. Eric would know more than me, as he's the DM. So we go inside, and then inside the kennel master is struggling with a dire wolf that's gone kind of feral. So he asks us to help him, so we go in and we start like taking it out, and he's like, if you could refrain from killing it, it's really valuable. So we take non-lethal attacks at it, right? Cusco's poison. The poison meant to kill Cusco. That poison. Anyway, so we end up, knocking out the dire wolf. The guy is super grateful, and he's like, oh, thank you so much. You can have any one of these dogs up here, any one of them. And there was a mastiff, so I took the mastiff. And one of my friends in the party has speak with animals, so he's talking to the mastiff for a little bit, kind of telling him the situation, that I need a ride because I'm so small. He thought he was going to eat me at first. And then he's like, no, he's actually going to be your master, and you're going to let him ride you. And then I passed a check. Everything went good. Rode the mastiff around without a saddle. All I had was basically a bridle and like a leash or something, or like a collar and a leash. And then we're walking around trying to get details. We stopped a robbery, but then the guy was so intimidated by us that he gave us the money after we saved him. So I don't know. I think we ended up being the robbers. Are we the baddies here? I don't know exactly what happened. It just happened so quickly. Anyway. Yeah, there's this guy in the alley. Two guys are mugging him. We step in. And then we get a really high intimidation check. And then... Hey, Primal. Anyway, it was kind of fun, that situation. The whole night was rather interesting. We were exploring these city streets, looking for a secret fighting hall or gambling hall that is an underground gambling hall. So not necessarily easy to locate. I put what's in here manually, the raised ones, these ones. At the moment, I'm not even happy with these. I'm probably going to move all the pumpkins over to this one and the squash. Probably going to put something smaller in these. But all of these are manual, yeah. Hey, John Doom, welcome back. I'm John Dungeon. Or John Alchemist, either one's fine. The dirt does come in these already, just by default. They're just called a planter. Who are you asking the question to there, Simone? I'm so confused. So anyway, we end up searching the streets looking for clues of this underground gambling ring, wherever it may be, or, fighting hall, whatever. And we check a couple places, talk to a couple people. Finally, we find a pub, which I'm like, there's a lot of people here. We'll probably get some intel. And we go to the pub, go inside. You can order food, get drink. We sit down, start kind of assessing the room and start talking. And my son, bless his heart, he's, the last couple years, the last few years, with COVID leading up to, him turning 18 just right after, it was really kind of socially rough on him. So he's kind of trying to get out of his social shell, so to speak, and be more assertive in conversation and be, just more approachable and better at small talk. And he took a more charismatic character in our campaign so he could practice, right? And he sometimes kind of runs into walls where he's not sure what to say, and he's just hoping, he's like, can we just roll? Because A, he doesn't care for small talk in real life, and so he's hoping to kind of just use a roll to get around it. And B, he, needs the practice, and as I said, needs the practice. So ultimately, I think that I always try to make sure that, hey, Forgotten Death, how are you? That he gets the opportunity to do these things, these social interactions in the game, especially, where he can practice and kind of flex his speech muscles, if you will. But he still is a little rusty, and it's easy to see that. Bless his heart. He does his best. And that's the thing. He's just got to practice a bit. I think just get kind of back into the groove of actually like talking in these situations too. It's also awkward when you're playing as a character and you're trying to feel out your voice and identity as that character. He'll get better for sure. I've got all the faith in the world. Darn it. Just darn it. That's awful, Simone. We did mess up. Hey, Angel, how are you? Welcome back. Hey, Primal Edge Design, how you doing? Oh, it is Mario Day, isn't it? Happy Mario Day! Misa sorry. Oh, wait, that's more Jar Jar, isn't it? Could be. I mean, you could just make it Paradise, you know? Go with it for your own build. So right now, I am working on a section of a very large map. This map is called the Ancient Cemetery. Here, let's just go to a top-down. You kind of see what's going on here. This map is 82 by 82. And it's essentially a big cemetery complex. We plan to put lots of more graves over here, by the way, so there'll be even more graves. So there's some graves here, graves here, graves here. Anyway, a big chapel here where they facilitate the various funerals. Big 3-story bell tower, beautiful gardens, intricate, hedge work, stuff like that. But I regress. Basically, the point of this map is to build a huge cemetery to put on the workshop that people could use in their campaigns for whatever purpose. As we've been building it, I've been getting suggestions and ideas on how to make it better, or what it should have, like what are the basics. And over here is one of what we're working on now, the caretaker's cottage. So the caretaker is the person who I imagine, takes care of all the hedges and the trees and the bushes and the plants and stuff on the property, keeps the roads clean, maybe even digs graves, stuff like that. It's got a whole one shot tied into it for sure. And I've got another complementary map gonna follow up with it. It'll be catacombs and sewers underneath it. There's several access points to underground in this map. So it'll be a companion map. I just like very detailed big maps. This is the place to hold the funeral, right here. The big church. Yup. You got it, dude. I think receptions are more of like a modern day thing. Wouldn't it be like at the chapel though? Like a viewing and a wake all at the chapel? It is quite a map. It's coming along though. Anyway, so this area over here is kind of the focus at the moment, the caretaker's cottage, which I haven't fully decided on like everything I'm going to put inside yet. I've made the layout, but I've kind of been filling it up with stuff as I go. The outside's been my primary focus. This paver, like stonework I laid down by hand. These ones were all one at a time. This one's like a big path, so that's kind of cheating. But I really enjoy where it's gone. Over here we kind of have like, oh, extra dirt and stones and stuff for like paths and maybe gravestones. Extra pots from like the plants that he's planted all around the work. Are there pets in DA? Like, not stock. I mean, we do have some tokens, you know? And there's the Hero Forge integration where you can import tokens from them, and they offer the ability to make like pet type tokens. We have Bite the Bullet, which they made us all sorts of different, you know, there's like a cat token, so technically it depends on your, you know, perspective. Yeah, technically we do have pets. But you can also import 3D models through the workshop or download assets from the workshop, right? And people have imported what I would consider pets to the workshop. You know, dog, cat. I have my own. Huh, why isn't it showing my assets? There we go. We'll just put Seymour on the map. Then I can have a puppy. Oops. Cat. So, more session talk. Let's see what else happened. So we kept exploring the streets till we found the bar, started kind of chatting people up in the bar, and finally got information from someone that there was a kind of like a gambling hall or some excitement underground, but we had to distract the waitress so we could get there. So we bought like a really crummy drink for a big giant in the corner so he'd complain. And then we walked into the back. We kind of talked to the cooks, tipped them, and then they gave us access. And we went down, had a check at the gate with some guards. Our thief talked to him in thief cant and managed to get like a good check and got past. And then we went inside the gambling hall, and each of us kind of walked around, checked it out. There's like some gambling tables, and then there was like a test of might, like a test your strength thing, it's basically over the top in the center. There was arm wrestling, so you could test your strength. And one of our guys tested his strength. Oh, wait, you could only do it with like bets, right? You had to have currency to buy chips, and one of our players found chips on the ground. So he let one of our stronger players do some gambling with them, right? And he failed on his check, and so he's like, here's someone else try, and we had another strong person try, and he won 2 times in a row against the giant. The giant was really impressed. And then I was like, you know, there's these giants here that are patrons, but there's the giant over there that's the pit boss. Maybe we should challenge him. And I thought if I challenged him and I won, maybe he would give me intel. So, and I have my lucky points, all 3 of them. Famous last words. I then walk up to the pit boss acting like I'm really drunk and I challenge him to a test of might as a halfling, and he's a fire giant. Let me just explain that part. So, I'm already in over my head. Oh, Matthew, for sure, for sure. Wizard's Towers will be so easy after the next update. Like, they're possible now, but they're a lot of work. You know what I mean? So, moving kind of back to the story, we are essentially kind of taking turns gambling, seeing what we could do. I take on the pit boss as a drunk little halfling, and he's laughing at me. Eric is kind of, and I just kind of take on the guy. He actually rolls really low for a giant, like an 18. And so I think I could beat him. So my first roll kind of like, it was like a 15, and I start using my luck dice to try and change the situation. I used all 3 of my luck rolls, and then I even got a pity roll because I was the little halfling that didn't give up, and I still failed everyone. Like, I did awful. So anyways, after, he just like, you're a good sport, and then asked me what I had to ask him because I didn't bet him anything. I asked for intel, and I just said we were looking for someone. The character we were looking for's name, I think it was Janice or something like that. Anyway, I still lost. And anyway, he gave me he's like, oh yeah, he does work here. And I was like, we heard he's really good with numbers, and we were hoping we could do some business with him. And he's like, let me go grab him. So we went and got him anyway. I felt like really, it probably would have happened without all that anyway. Probably, knowing Eric. But either way, still very fun to do and interact in that way. And we get the guy over to the table, start talking to him, start kind of assessing the situation and telling him that we have some business to do with him. He pulls out his book, his ledger, which is the thing we're after. And we're like, oh, we need that. So we start just kind of our charisma person and another person backing him up start saying, hey, we're from this area. We have some trade to do, and we were wondering if, you would like to do business with us. And he's like, oh, sure, let me get the log, blah, blah, blah. Tell me your ship, tell me the goods you have. And so we just kind of make it all up on the fly. He goes back into his office to grab something and then comes back. And then our rogue tries to pickpocket him, fails the pickpocket. And then the DM says, you could try again, but you'll have disadvantage. And so I distract the guy, and I just tell him, I'm so sorry for the wait. Our patron who was wanting to discuss business with you was distracted. He noticed a cheater on the other table, and his sense of justice could not let him stand idle. And the pit boss was over there talking to him so he could see him. And he's like, oh, I see. No problem at all. And so while I was distracting him, the rogue picked his pocket, lifted the book, and then walked out immediately. Like, he'd already cashed out his chips. We kind of accused a dealer of cheating and got a really good deception check. The pit boss killed the dealer and gave him 10 chips. We cashed that out, stole the book, ran off with the book. He ran off out to the bar. So we kind of just slowly cashed out our chips and left afterwards. And yeah, it was a bit of a riot. Well, I kind of forgot to mention, we had a plan to distract everyone. So there was guards kind of in the corners, guards covering the cage and the pit boss. But our kind of Rizzler went over and said that he noticed someone was cheating. And the pit boss came over, everyone was screaming at the table, they were upset. And the pit boss immediately was killed the person without even a question, just killed them. Or was you were cheating, and he's like, I don't know. And then my son mentioned that he saw them looking over people's shoulders at their cards. And then my wife's character backed it up. And then the 3 other people at the table were all scared. They didn't want to get killed, so they backed it up. And basically, they went along with it. So we kind of had a distraction to kind of pull away some of the guards' attention and the pit boss's attention while we lifted the book. It was an interesting combination of timing. But we spent 20, 30 minutes or so in this place just trying to assess what we should do. Each of us gambling little bits, some of us winning, some of us losing. Lots of fun all around. Why does the cat have to be cursed? Whoa. How'd that happen? Hey, Mateus, how you doing, buddy? Wonderful. Thank you for asking. So yeah, the guards were kind of arguably distracted by the distraction of seeing some, their talk of a cheater at a table and someone getting killed on the site, you know. So we essentially used that to our advantage, and we're able to lift the book and then run. And oh, our patron, when we got hired by her, she gave us each a +1 piece of armor that we could pick of our choosing, so like a shield or a piece of armor that we could wear. And I opted for a +1 shield. I thought that was pretty cool because I have shield proficiency as an artificer, so went with that. Was an artificer. And so I have a +1 shield now, not bad. And then when we got back with the book so quick, she was surprised. She was like, wait, you did this in one night? And we actually bragged. We're like, actually only took us a couple of hours. You were asleep when we got back. So she has she's an underground boss, right? And she's hiding us in her base, as a safe house. And she has a huge armory. And we could pick an armor from it. But the armor, the catch is, it has her brand on it. So we're walking around as one of her foot soldiers, basically. It's more like a wheat. You have corn? There is corn. Taller green ones are beans. Beans! I guess I could make them corn. There, it's corn. But yeah, these are beans, bean stalks. On like a support, a trellis vine, something there. So one person picked a piece of just +1, whatever, hardened leather armor or something, and a couple of people picked shields. And then when we got back, we were each given a magical item. So we got our fighters got +1 weapons, or and then the casters got a +1 casting focus. It's pretty nice. It was quite the event. See, the thing is we only get to play once a month. And we haven't necessarily, done a whole ton, all things considered. Our session in 4 months of gameplay has been, in-game time, I'm guessing something less than 3 days. And a good chunk of that 3 days was long resting or in hiding. The rest was us on the run and doing things in real time really quickly. So, always funny that so little has happened, but at the same time, a lot. Things have a weird collider and they kind of jump sometimes. So I just take the one and sink it. So never pop up on top of each other because they're perma-sunk. Yeah, I guess it could be any one of those. It says wheat, so just going off of what it says. The little garden's coming along. Just trying to decide how to lay it out. I moved the pumpkins and squash over here, but that means I got to do something with these raised beds. It's coming up in the marquee, but it's paradise, my friend. Strawberry patch would be good. I could put one either up here or in between here. I was thinking of just doing tons of pumpkins and squashes. See you later, Watchtower. Strawberries should be in the raised beds. Fair enough. Let me finish doing these beds then, and then we'll dive back in. Next time on Dungeon Alchemist Z. Our community manager, Mac, finds himself without a plan for his garden bed. Kind of using that as like vines. We're going to call this one right here Gordon. Hey, Half Ogre, how you doing, buddy? Yep, daylight savings had me all crossed up this morning too, my friend. Don't worry about it, dude. Take your time. I had it all on lock. Dag was hanging out with me. We got it all squared away. Feel you, half ogre. I feel you. Okay. Garden is looking much more full and vibrant. Go through and lower some plants. Feels less dense. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've got such a chill audience here. It was no big deal. They weren't acting out of line or anything, so I think we were wondering what I should do. Maybe a whole different run of veggies there. I could do some corn or something in between. Should I put there? Should I just keep going pumpkins and squash until they meet? Also, just kind of leave like a walkway, a little bit more on each side, and like a path to walk through. Need to focus on this too. I've been putting it off. Yin yang of pumpkin. Oh god. Seems so excessive for pretty much no reason. It's also in a square instead of a circle. Strawberry is massive. Yeah, I think that looks pretty reasonable. You know what I could do is a bunch of potatoes down this centerpiece. Boop, 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 potatoes, and then make this all carrots. I mixed in some potatoes here and I wasn't really happy with how they turned out. Ooh. There is mushroom in one of them already, yep. Oops. Mistake. Let's move that to the side. Delete these potatoes. True. Potato. Let's sink this one just down in a little bit. Like just under the surface soil. They don't rotate now that I've done that, so I have to do a lot of manual rotation. The map is going well, Stormy. How are you doing today? At the moment, I'm filling in the gardening plots. We just filled in this strawberry plot a little bit, and then put in the extra rows of wheat, and doing some squash and pumpkin and potatoes. What's the point, dude? I can't see them otherwise. Maybe they're just getting ready to be harvested. Have some fun with it. Like, this isn't real, it's fantasy, right? Like, otherwise they'd just be on a plate. That's the only time we'd seen them. Yeah, Twitter crashed when I went live this morning, so I don't know if it's actually live. Tag always has to give me a hard time, doesn't he? They're accurate. Well, you kind of confirmed for me, so... out these carrots a little bit. Yeah, I like to leave little visual clues so people know what they're looking at. So, like, yeah, this kind of looks like a carrot, but I also left one out, like, at an angle, so it's kind of helpful to that extent. Put a wedding ring on the carrot, like those stories that you see like once a year on some magazine. Some like newspaper, how a wife lost her wedding ring like 20 years prior and then she finds it growing in a carrot. Man, that one was veering. Do I care at all? I care too much. That's the problem. Oh my gosh, this part is just pure tedium. I'm really glad I have that carrot eating up like 3 of them, so I don't have to do those 3 extra. Oh yeah, I was reading about that last night. This morning it was really slow. Yeah, you know what? I'm fine with that. I don't have any opinion on it. So I put in this last garden bed. So we've got mushrooms right here, right? We've got some cabbage and lettuce. And then there is some basil and bay leaf and some melons right there. We've got pumpkins, potatoes and squash, beans and wheat. A little bit of everything. In here, I was thinking of putting things that are like, oh, he's got a lemon tree. That would probably be considered rare in a fantasy setting. It's not like they have tons of citrus fruit back in the day if you compare it to like a time frame, like, you know, things that would be the analog time frame. So it'd probably want to keep it safe and somewhere where, you know, like animals can't get at it and stuff. Anyway, thinking of putting something in this space. I'm not sure what. Thinking maybe a tree or two. And then I was also considering what to do here. Because we could do something here, maybe like a shrine or something. Like a fountain or, I don't know, stacked stones that's like a, I don't know, like a little meditation space or something like that. Clearly a religious person to a degree, as he is the caretaker for the church's property. You know, the cemetery. In here, I want all sorts of different plants, you know, on stands and stuff like this that looks foreign and interesting. Here, I'm going to put a bunch of tools, so I might as well just start with that. Rope. Up in here. Or like this could be something. Let's see. Why is it not detecting the... Weird. There's normally some colliders there and they're missing. Didn't have to do. Hey, see you later, Dag. Do-do. Do-do. Kind of like poison or something. Really just trying to fill it with all sorts of random things. And in here, like a backup watering can. Bucket. Buy that. Broom in the corner here. Well, let's pull it back. Probably just put a broom in his house. It seems weird to not have one. Shop broom, house broom, that makes sense. Bunch of rags. Thinking some crates, barrels, stuff like that. I'm going to keep looking at the tools. I like to just go through all of them before I make decisions. Some of these might actually even be nice. Like on the side of this. You just put like some hay in this or something, right? Or even something like this. I'll probably just put like some vines over the potatoes eventually. Milk cans tucked in here. It doesn't necessarily have to be a milk can. Like hang a yolk on the side here. That. Up a little bit. Little rake over here. Yeah, it is a good idea. That's a good suggestion. But ultimately, I'm looking for something a little bit more... Ooh, you know what? I just saw something I'm going to add. He needs an apiary, and I think this is a perfect place for it. I'm going to put a beehive here, and we'll deal with that later. Just kind of a thought, right? What do we got in here? Churn barrel? Maybe put this like on the side here. I don't even know what that's for. Butter churn, I'm assuming. Carpenter tools will definitely want some in here. Composter? Yeah, it does kind of look... You know what? Maybe putting it out here next to the hay would make sense then. I'm going to put like a little toolbox. Make sure it's one that's kind of full. Up on this. Up. Fortunately, that collider is just missing now in the shed. That is so weird. I have to let the devs know about that, but not much I can do about it right now. Hate it. Toolbox. Hey, cartographer. Sorry I didn't notice you there, buddy. My TikTok chat is somewhat buggy at times. Let me refresh it. What you been up to, brother? We need a light source in here, too. Sawhorse or two in here under this, like that wouldn't be bad. As long as they're not hanging out the back too much. One here. Tuck them into each other. That's a good question, Rev. So I have a tool that I downloaded some time ago called Mouse Highlight. I don't even remember where I got it from here. And it allows me to just kind of pick a color, set the size, and it just highlights my mouse permanently. It's a really nice tool on the stream because the mouse is hard to find sometimes, you know what I mean? Couple of sawhorses there. I'm gonna put like some crates and barrels and stuff in here. Flying for yobs. Isn't that the worst, man? I'm sorry. I wish you nothing but success in your job search, cartographer. If I hear of anything, I'll let you know, okay, brother? I need something weird like a barrel in here. You could put a salt barrel in here because you can open it. I'll just shrink it down. Put it in the corner. Or anyway, but it opens like this, and so it's kind of like fertilizer or something, you know? Could be any number of things. I'm open to suggestions on any types of tools. Yeah, I feel very like grateful to have an amazing job with awesome bosses. Like, I don't know. It's pretty rough out there at the moment. Guess a pickaxe wouldn't be out of line, but it just seems so weird laying on its side. Problem is, all the shovels are like not vertical, right? So it's problematic. There's like this shovel, right? It's just sitting on its side. There is the peel. The bread peel kind of looks like a shovel. I often put it in stuff. That's a good idea. By the wheelbarrow. Soon, TM Chim. Soon, TM. Likely our next update. All goes according to plan. Like, I haven't seen any of it in action yet, but my hope is that we'll be seeing previews of it in the next month or so. Thinking like a little cage like this, right? So maybe he has it to trap vermin or something, right? So he keeps it in his shed when he's not using it. Here. And maybe a crate or something here. You just fill it with parts, like one of these ones. It's full of sprockets and stuff. Tuck one of those up here. Down. It. Doodads. every dad has a box full of like cables and like extra parts for electronics. And me, I keep all my old manuals. I keep the boxes for a lot of my electronics, like smaller ones, for a few years because I resell them later, and having the box resale value is much higher. I also but I have like a box full of HDMI, USB, power cables, Ethernet cables, aux cables, like anything you can think of is in this box. And anytime my wife needs a cable, she's like, "Do you have this cable?" I'm like, "One second, check." And I usually do. And I also, in my toolbox, have a box, like a bin, magnetic tray full of extra screws that don't go to anything. And I have like one of those like stackable, like, locking toolboxes that like interlinks and stuff, but it has a piece just for like screws and bolts and nails, and I filled that with all my odds and ends. I have way too much junk as a dad of almost 40. It starts accumulating. Anyway, what other dads? Any other dads? Can you confirm that you also have a massive pile of, or a massive, like a bin or box full of cords and stuff? That, yeah, as soon as you throw one away, you'll need it next month. I agree, though. It's true. Hmm. Couple of things on the top here. But the shed's starting to look really good. A bag full of NES controllers. Thing. Sorry. Just come in, make sure. I think this space is coming along, though. The ye old shed. I want to put like a something light-wise on the outside here. Put like a mounted, like a lantern or something. Good on the wall here. It's the aesthetic, and I can raise it up here. Draws attention to it. Nice little lantern. And then I'm thinking inside. Honestly, I mean, AI is still a big part of what we do, though we've toned down the verbiage around it just because AI nowadays is construed more negatively, and a lot of people make snap judgments about it without understanding it. Like many in our community know this, but some may not know. Dungeon Alchemist AI, first off, it's not generative AI like you see in, your learning language model type AIs like ChatGPT or Midjourney or any Copilot, any of those modern crazy mega huge AIs. We use last gen AI called procedural gen, right? Proc gen for short. And procedural gen AI is essentially very primitive by comparison. You know, it's like uh, I don't know how to say it really in a digital comparison. It's like comparing like a Super Nintendo to like a modern day, you know, Switch. They're completely different, but they're still very good at what they do. Now, that being said, Dungeon Alchemist AI is developed entirely in house. So we trained the AI and developed it entirely in house. At no point was any art or assets or maps, used from an external source to train or, use in our AI. So when you utilize our AI to generate a room, it only uses our assets and is trained to generate rooms based on the rule sets we give it. So the assets are created internally by our very talented team of artists and the development done by a very genius team of devs. That being said, don't mean to get on the AI thing. It just was kind of brought up a little bit, and I had to mention we have kind of toned down how we kind of feel about or like embrace or state AI as a brand, but it's still very much part of what we do. I think just overall we had to be careful because there's so many people nowadays that will see AI and just not even be interested immediately for that reason. So we had to kind of just address that head on and make sure that our, incoming community members are aware of what type of AI we have. Honestly, I do have to kind of defend our kind of stance sometimes, as well as our community members who make maps and share them. Sometimes they get flamed on like Reddit, particularly for sharing maps there. People are like, this is just AI. And I'll look at the map and go, there's no way this one was made with AI. I dare you to have our AI generate this. Our AI is okay. It's not that good. Like there's so much detail that goes into some of the maps y'all make that there's no way our AI could really match that. You know what I mean? And I credit where credit is due. You all are amazing cartographers and make some beautiful maps. And I don't want to take that away from you. Ever. Exactly. We made it before even the pandemic. It was like before anyone even cared about AI or was using it for their homework. Like it was. I think at the end of the day, Iconoplast, it is still a huge time saver for those who use it that way, but it also has room to grow and really just be like a cathartic map making experience akin to like Sims, you know? But you could also churn out some of the most detailed, amazing maps you've ever seen when you spend some time in it. Oh my gosh, we've been dealing with AI since we were kids. It's the street lights you go to use AI, your ATM, the stock market, video games. Like AI is everywhere. Anyway, enough about that. Hey Joseph, how you doing, buddy? Gotta look for something that is the right type of plant life to go with these potatoes. So everyone's like, those potatoes don't look right. Because. looks a lot better. I think everyone kind of has their level of what I think is good, you know? Like what you feel is adequate for your map. Some people will put in a little bit and think that's great. Some people will just generate an environment and call it a day. I mean, our environmental generation is really nice, especially if you're just doing random terrain environments for your players, where they're like traversing a desert or a forest or whatever with really, no like any sign of civilization. Bearsoft, the problem is, how can I enjoy them? Gosh, I gotta have this argument again, I swear. How can I see them in the planter if they're underground in a top-down? I need to make concessions here. Okay, good. I swear, you're just trying to make me lose what little hair I have left. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Anyway, so I I'm trying to think. Hey, Kowser, how you doing? Welcome. I'm trying to think of what to discuss next with our D&D session that happened last night. Where was I? What was I talking about last? So I got a dog. We found the underground gambling den, fighting pit place, whatever, test of strength. We lifted the book, successfully escaped, and as a reward, each of us got like a +1 weapon or a +1 magical focus. And I dipped one level into Artificer to start, and the rest is Wizard. And I know it'd be really smart to take like a Wizard focus, like an Arcane Grimoire or something, or maybe a Hat of Wizardry. But I feel like I'll be able to buy one or get one later. And I got a focus I feel is much more utility based and will last the whole game. I decided to take... Here, I'm going to pull these plants off for a bit while I make more potato area. I decided to take an all-purpose tool, which I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but it is, in my opinion, one of the coolest items in the game in all of Dungeons and Dragons. It is something that was added in Tasha's, and it was made for Artificers particularly. And it's essentially a sonic screwdriver. So, Rev, we didn't buy the casino, no. We stole the ledger by posing as, merchants. And we posed that we were going to, sell them 10 huge crates, like giant-sized crates of wine from our ship. And they were like, he's like, oh, cool, we want to do business with you. Let's get all the information. And our patron, the person who put us on this journey, the quest, said we could do whatever we needed to do to make it happen. So, like, we brought the invoice back to her, and we're like, hey, you're going to have to, maybe come up with all this wine and a ship that can send all this wine to them because we had to use this as cover to get access to the ledger. So she was pleased with the whole situation, and she rewarded us with +1 items. That was pretty much the end of the session. But we ended by kind of splitting up loot that we got for the night at the gambling hall. We got enough to be about 1,400 gold, and we split that between everyone. And like I said, I got that Mastiff, which was pretty cool. And then each of us got like a +1 armor piece and a +1 casting or weapon. Oh, thank you. Love you. Potato. Hey, DM Analyze. Sorry, I didn't notice your chat right now. Oh, you throw away... your wife doesn't let you throw away cords? That's weird. Any plans to make city maps? You can make city maps with Dungeon Alchemist already, though it's not necessarily super straightforward or easy. It just takes some time. Pretty much like any other map maker out there. But we do plan to streamline dungeon and likely city generation with time. Shoot, someone was talking to me over on Steam, Atlam. I missed it. Will you keep an eye on that for me, bud? I don't know if they're still there. No worries. That we both missed it. That was my bad. Let me add the potato plant vines. Everyone here is going to freak out if they don't have them, right? Unplayable. Review. Negative review. Bomb in progress. Okay, so we've got pumpkins, potatoes, and we've got squash. So the item I took, the sonic screwdriver thing, the all-purpose tool, essentially allows me to, with an action, change it to any tool proficiency I want, and it becomes the whole tool set, and I'm immediately proficient with it. So let's say, hey, I want glass blowing tools. All of a sudden, I'm proficient with it. Maybe I want to do leatherworking. I'm proficient now. Doesn't matter. I am now a skill monkey. Additionally, once a day for 8 hours, you can pick a cantrip from any spell list and cast it as if it was an artificer cantrip. So I could cast, Eldritch Blast if I wanted to. I could cast, any cantrip from any spell list. That's the point. Once I cast it, it's that cantrip for 8 hours, which is really nice. Gives you a lot of versatility. Okay, what other tools should I put in here? I stepped away for a minute. Thinking like some potions and stuff on the wall. I might even open this so you could see oh, that's fertilizer. Cool. I guess we could just keep looking at tools, right? Which I also do have guidance, because I took that as one of my 2 cantrips as Artificer. I have guidance and Shocking Grasp, so I have the ability to guidance myself as a wizard, which is pretty intense. Pretty cool, to say the least. Let's see here. What should I... Oh man, my build is insane. I'm pretty sure Eric hates it. Even though the problem is, I've learned last night that my luck, my personal in-world IRL luck, will always counteract the amount of, no matter how much luck I have in-game, my real-world luck will counteract it. So I have a luck build. I have a halfling, so you have halfling luck. So if you roll a 1, you get to re-roll. I took Lucky as a background feat, so I started with Lucky. I have Guidance, I took Divination Wizard, so I have Portent. I also have Shield, and I have Silvery Barbs. So I have all of these like different things to kind of manipulate the odds in my favor. Last night I used 3 luck rolls to try and win an arm wrestle against a fire giant, and I still lost. So my personal luck outweighed my in-game luck in this instance. I'm open to suggestions like that. Oh, I was going to put one of these in there. These little kind of sewn up packages. It could be whatever. Okay. Let's put... What other carpenter tools can we add in here? Thinking we could add like another set of hammers in this corner. See them. Nope, will not. Put them above these. Let's see. Lower this a little bit. You want the hammer? Just trying to think of little odds and ends to fit on here. Just a bomba. Be a ledger. The best I can do is a teeth jar. Is that cool? Those look like seeds, right? Oh man, that book is way above the table. Never sat it on it, actually. His personal bag of teeth. Let's see here. Mondu says they're seeds, that makes them seeds, yo. Hmm. It seems like a lot of work. Cartographer, I didn't even know +1 crowbars existed. Hmm. Like these. Okay. What's wrong, Mondu? I think I'm gonna try and add some bees, around all the different areas where there's plants. Also need to figure out what to put in this planter. What should I put right here? We got strawberries, we got carrots. Let's look at some food. And grow some eggs. What do you guys think? A couple of you are having a aneurysm at the moment, so Magic. Grapes need a vine more than anything. The grapes would be right here in this planter. So what we would probably do, yeah, would have it like on this. Turnips could work, I guess. Guess I could just do another thing of strawberries. Tomatoes. I'm trying to work with food we already have. Hmm. Let me think on it for a minute. I don't have to do it right this second, you know? Not the end of the world. You can always come back to it. Well, I do want a shank of meat hanging somewhere. Tomatoes grow in bushes. Disturbed Rick. Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness. What I was planning on doing in here is putting plants that are like rare. So I was gonna fill like one with cactuses, have like an orange tree, a lemon tree, kind of fey wild stuff, if that makes sense. In here, it would be things that are like need to be protected from the outside world or from like other animals and stuff like that. Mostly things here are very resilient, can grow on their own. So here we had like the fey bush, the dryad. But yeah, we could. I was gonna put some cacti or something like that, so it looks like each of these might be their own biome. I could fill it with like desert sand or something. Poisonous plants, though, yeah. Fondue sometimes. I worry about you. Ooh, dried chilies. I like how this bone saw is under cutlery. Brutal. They do a pizza plant. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick save. I'm gonna just step away for a minute to use the restroom, and then when I get back, we'll dive into it. Oh man, we're getting really close to the end here. Just realized we're only about 20 minutes away. A lot of fine detail. Got isn't there? Is that real garden that has like really dangerous plants in it? Gotcha. It, like almost everywhere is signs that are like, "Don't touch this. If you touch this, you'll die. Please don't." I'm gonna probably put some planters in there. I'm just staging this for next week or next time because I'm probably gonna forget. Snail farm. This is where I keep the snail that if he touches me, kills me. So I keep him locked up. Hmm. Ooh, that planter looks fun. Thinking of putting the study over here. It's like I don't have anything in the room, and then I could put more plants in the house. Nice, Chim. Can't wait to see it. I think we made a good progress today. Made all the garden area for the most part, added the apiary, and then did the shed, which I think looks pretty good. It could be better, but I'm happy with it. Someone said I should put some dynamite in here earlier. Just a inconspicuous crate of dynamite, just chilling. You know, if your players find that, it's not going to be fun. %90 a joke? That you knew what you were doing. No. That is a big dynamite stick, bro. Almost a foot long. That's a big bada boom. Right, Mary? Oh, if you ever find sweating dynamite in real life, just go away. Just go. Just get out of there. Post haste. Okay. I'll be right back. And then we'll wrap up. Oh. Guess I'll just run a Dungeon Alchemist themed ad for break. Sound good, everyone?
Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making application that allows you to make amazing maps in just a few clicks. You can then easily print these maps and use them in your role-playing games. Or you can import them into your favorite VTT with walls and lights configured for you. Here's how it works. First, choose a terrain for your map. Then pick a theme. How about an old-school crypt? Or maybe an abandoned mansion? Just start drawing rooms, and Dungeon Alchemist will place all the walls, floors, doors, objects, and lights for you. Each new room is generated on the fly and is completely unique. Yeah, we do all the grunt work for you, so you can focus on creating. Changed your mind? No problem. Swap out the theme of an entire room with a single click. Is it a garden? Nope, it's a hovel. And now it's a tent. Everything in Dungeon Alchemist can be adjusted. Release your interior decorator and go wild. Recolor potions. Mess with the light. Set the house ablaze. In Dungeon Alchemist, you are the artist. Bring in your own content and really personalize your world. Dungeon Alchemist comes with thousands of unique assets, each lovingly crafted to suit your adventuring needs. Create a glowing mushroom forest. Light up your abandoned temple, or stuff your room to the brim with pillows. Build an entire world in seconds and reshape reality to your heart's content. Once you're happy, bring your world to life and explore your map through your player's eyes. Come along with us and let Dungeon Alchemist upgrade your role-playing experience to the next level.
Alrighty, I am back. Quick break. I'm thinking of what to do with this space for next week too. More staging area, like we could put up more fence stuff, or it could be plants, or like I said, like a shrine or something, like a little area where maybe he prays or does something, you know. Horse stuff, like some stables for like a like a like a beast of burden, like a mule or something, because we have that. It's enough room for a couple of stables, like a little run through that area. A goat, interesting. Hey Dyro, how you doing? Welcome back. Just kind of mostly brainstorming what I'll be doing next session. Working and lurking. Nice. I might even put pavers play like. Walkway to the in there. Nice. I love all of the recent shares of Bastions because it's such a new development, you know, with the 2024 rule set. I think it's pretty interesting altogether. I know some of you aren't fans of Bastions, but some of you are. Bastions are a new mechanic in basically the 2024 rule set that allows your players to build a base that has certain like benefits depending on the add-ons they take. Some of the add-ons are pretty cool and kind of overpowered. Some of them are pretty standard, but it's kind of more direction when it comes to base building. Honestly, no, I think just the fact that it's so in-depth now, and they never really technically called it Bastions until now. Oh, did they? Did they call it Bastions in the past? Fine, whatever. But in 5e, they didn't technically call it a Bastion, which is where I came into playing excessively. They just had a little base building mechanic in the DMG that was it was like a few paragraphs. That's it. So I like that there's pages and pages of information that dive into everything you can do, all the various add-ons, the downtime stuff. By the way, sorry, Bear, that I wasn't alive in 1979 to learn that. I really should get on that, right? One of my biggest mistakes in life was not putting my allowance into buying my first home when I was 4, you know. I should have been already moved out by the time I was 6 years old, paying for my first home. That way I could have actually afforded it. Right. I was too busy playing. Well, in 79, I wasn't even a thought yet. Like, I might have been a thought, but, you know. I'm old, but I'm not bear soft old. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. You're not as old as Michelle. Wow, Gyro, that's impressive. I'm trying to think of what to put in this other planter, and I haven't come up with an idea yet. Okay, so I've been brainstorming for the last few minutes. Right? Trying to figure out what to do. So this will be my rare plant area. So it'll be like rare fruits, rare dangerous plants, stuff like that. So we'll focus on that next session, get this whole greenhouse figured out. Now that the shed has been mostly mastered and the area around it looks good, I maybe could put something here, but for the most part probably don't need anything. Maybe a fountain or something, whatever. The whole area around the house is done. We put in the apiary here, which really filled this out, I think. We have the garden beds, which were blank pretty much last week, and now they've got pumpkins and potatoes and what are these things called? Sorry, gourds. Gordon! We've got wheat and beans and we've got carrots and strawberries and oh my gosh, so much stuff. Might even just put more like lettuce up here so I have another bed of lettuce. Why not, right? We've got the chickens. Got log cutting. We've got a on-site well. Right? Oh my. I don't think there's a ladder down in the well. I just put water on the... I don't know. I don't like the dark pit down there that's like the stock, whatever. So I always like to put water in there. I use this as an ice fishing one too. So if you have like ice, like a river, you could put it on it. It's like a little ice fishing hole. Yeah, you could put someone down there. A ladder also. Like, if I wanted to, I could put a ladder. Like, technically. Really not that hard to do. The pit makes it look like it's too deep and there's no water or it's dried up. None of our wells actually look like they have, like, water in them, so I like that more. Put cement on that. Don't let her out. Man, I haven't watched The Ring since I was like a teenager, basically. Yes, that could potentially be an underground access point. That is a good point. The well makes sense. Though you may have to swim a little bit through, like, you know, a bit of water to access an area where there is, like, a cave. So this map has been taking a while to build, so we've added some intrigue to it. I'm going to add like secret access points, hatches, stuff like that throughout the map. We ritual cast water breathing in this house. So I'm really hyped to have a Mastiff as a mount. I'm going to make him like a saddle or buy a saddle and then make some barding. So he's protected while I ride around on him. So I now have a familiar owl named Omen, and I have a Mastiff dog named Chance. And I have a luck build, so Chance, Omen, take that how you will. I think they were pretty good picks. Man, I grew up with so much quicksand paranoia, Mondu. I think my generation of kids, like millennials and like late Gen Xers and early millennials, were like programmed to fear quicksand. I don't even understand it. But so much of the media we consumed had it in it. Okay? Half ogre. Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? Indiana Jones, also, never-ending story, okay? There's tons of movies and TV shows where quicksand is prevalent and traumatized us, okay? But in the real world, quicksand is really not that common and actually really easy to overcome. If you run into quicksand, try it and flatten out as quick as you can. Like lay flat on top of it so you stop sinking. You need as much surface area as possible. Remain calm. Do not flail. Do not kick. And hopefully you have help to help you get out. Indiana Jones is definitely part of the problem there. And it's not a bad problem. The worst thing to do in that situation is to move. Hey, Davin, how you doing? Because as you start flailing, you'll end up sinking more or getting more gripped. So you should always try to hold still and kind of cover as much surface area as possible. Lay out flat on top of it, like put your waist on it if you can. Sadly, we're just about to wrap up, Davin. Just kind of looking around the property, deciding what we're going to work on next week when I get back. Or when we get back next Monday. So really quickly, I just want to point out we host 3 streams a week. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, right? Monday is Mapmaker Monday today. We build a map live. You can tune in, watch, learn, ask questions, share suggestions and feedback, and get live support in AMA format, which is Ask Me Anything. Wednesday is our office hour stream that's hosted exclusively in our Discord. Discord isn't part of our multi-streams that we host on Mondays and Saturdays. Sadly, they cannot be, so we give them an exclusive stream every Wednesday. Those streams are kind of a little bit more laid back. We hang out and discuss our campaigns, ideas for stat blocks, maps, encounters, all sorts of balancing and stuff like that. We talk about map making. We showcase maps and assets, and we also provide AMA support. I like to think of it as like we had a headquarters that you could drive up to and go in and get support or get a tour or meet the staff. So yeah, Davin, I'm working on a massive cemetery map. This one is quite large. 82 by 82. And right now I'm building the caretaker's property. As we built this massive cemeteries, everyone's like, there needs to be a caretaker. There needs to be a caretaker. I said agreed. I set aside a space for him and we started plotting out the land for him a couple streams ago. We work on this every Monday, by the way. So if anyone wants to tune in each Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, or 5 p.m. UTC, you can tune in, watch the map built live, share feedback and suggestions, help with suggestions and feedback for the build, and also just hang out with like-minded map makers, learn a lot about Dungeon Alchemist, and just chill. Oh, you meant this session? So what did I work on this session? I worked on these garden plots here. I filled them in with custom like garden work. So we've got like some wheat, some beans, some gourds, some potatoes, and pumpkins. Here we have an apiary that I added. And then also I changed around these garden beds. These used to be pumpkins. These used to be gourds. Made this strawberries. There used to be potatoes in this too, so I made it all carrots. We're going to fill in this one next week. Over here, we did some work in the shed. The shed was blank, and so was the space next to it. So we started kind of filling it with tools, and all sorts of equipment that the caretaker of this property might have. So there's that. Out here's a little composting bin, some hay. This area is probably what we'll work on next week, is like his rare plants. He is a green thumb, obviously, so he has a passion for plants and farming, and he has a very rare plant collection in here of things that are from, rare and distant lands that he may have traded over the years. So an orange tree and a lemon tree, rare in these parts. It's coming along. Yeah, shed, I figured the caretaker would have a lot of tools and all sorts of stuff to help him, like, manage the property and do stuff here, right? So that's where the shed comes in. All of this stonework I laid in custom, like, a week ago or the week before. Put those in one at a time and just kind of curve them a little bit. Each week we add in a little bit. I'm going to probably finish this up next week, the caretakers, and then we'll move on to the last stage, which is the final graves. We're going to do pauper graves and terraced graves. So pretty much this corner will all be pauper graves, and this corner over here will all be terraced graves. So kind of back to the streams. Our next Saturday, we have the Dam stream. The Dam stream is a showcase of maps and assets that you can find on the Steam Workshop or available in our Discord. So if you go to the Steam Workshop tab, hit Browse Maps, Browse Assets, you can find these maps and assets we share on the stream. We like to highlight all the cool maps and 3D models shared by our community, because more often than not, if you're not just looking on the first page, you'll be missing out on some really cool ones, some diamonds in the rough. So the point of that stream is to showcase those assets and give credit where credit is due to the many creators in our community who put a lot of effort and time to create 3D models and share them, or maps and share them. During that stream, we also provide AMA support. That stream starts at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. UTC, runs for about 2 hours. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so very much for tuning in. These streams are, kind of my passion project within the community. I love providing a space for DMs, GMs, map makers to hang out, get to know each other, get support, talk to the dev team, and also just have a free kind of third space to hang out with like-minded GMs, DMs, map makers, and, because there's really not a lot of that today. Everything's kind of be stripped away from you. You don't have as many free spaces anymore. So we try to provide that here, where you can, get support, hang out with other people, bounce ideas off of people, make friends, maybe even a community at the end of the day. Thank you everyone for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is the beautiful map making tool you see in front of you. It is available on Steam. There is a free demo if you want to try it out. So if you've been watching, you want to can I try this? Download the demo. It allows you to play with the forest biome and our tavern builds. So you can build yourself a small little tavern and export it for print or your virtual tabletop of choice. If you like it, the full version is a one-time purchase, lifetime license. The price varies based on region, so I can't even speculate on your price. But check it out. If you end up purchasing it, you get all past updates and future updates until we leave early access and have delivered on all our remaining stretch goals. So quite a bit of update material to go. Thank you everyone for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager. We're going to run a short, quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to take off. So we'll see you next time. I give a damn. Back out. Bye.
But can it handle curves?
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 Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map-making application for role-playing games, now comes with both round and diagonal walls. Create amazing professional maps for your players in seconds. Get it now on the Steam store.
See you later, everyone. Back out. Bye.